What have you thought of fall camp so far from your guys?
Physicality, you can see it. I know at the quarterback position, we've been throwing the ball deep ball really well. As an offense, it's a little different tone than it was a year ago. Run the football pretty effectively. Physical up front. We got some guys that can go on the outside.
For your room, obviously you bring in Keldrick. What's he added to that? And obviously, just being a young guy, but having those four now all here together, really.
Yeah, really he's trying to get Keldrick caught up to speed because Alex was here in the spring. He got all the spring reps, and so now it's like, all right, Keldrick, let's throw you in the fire. Let's see what you can do, what you like, what you don't like, and then start catering the offense to what if you're in the game, this is what we're going to do, this is what you like to do. And then when you're in the game, what do you have to do for us to execute to be successful and win? And so now it's starting to narrow it down for him, that kind of deal. So he's kind of swimming. The first couple of days he's out there, he's swimming. I'm saying next to him, hey, you got this, and now it's kind of honed in. He's starting to see it. You guys saw a couple post routes he hit today, which were good. So
For Preston, this opportunity that he's waited for a minute now, can you tell just some excitement from him? I know he's an enthusiastic guy out there with his teammates, but can you tell it means a lot for it to finally be here for him?
Yeah, you can tell. Well, one thing you can tell, this is his team, right? He's the quarterback of this team. He's taking it over, especially the offense. I mean, they feed off his energy. He's out there. I mean, every play we come out on the sideline, he's fist bumping Rooster in the backfield or fist bumping LJ, like that kind of. You feel that kind of thing all the time, and so he's taking it upon himself. You can feel the offense shift into his mode now, which is good to see.
And just what does it say about a guy? I mean, maybe not his true freshman year, but it would have been easy for him to not be the starting guy last year and transfer somewhere where he could have played right away. But for him to sit for 2 years, watch, take it all in, and then now have the opportunity.
I think that's the hardest thing in college football now is these guys that are talented coming in and sitting there going, man, I should be playing as a freshman or a redshirt freshman, and sitting and waiting. I think it goes back to trust. Trust with Coach last year when we recruited him before in 18-19 for those 2 years. And then we came back, and the trust we built through him saying, hey, this is the process, this is what we believe, this is what you need to work on to become the guy. And he believed in it, right? And he trusts us, and now he's the guy. So that's the hard part nowadays. Because now guys just sit there and go, man, you told me this, told me this. And to be honest with us in recruiting, like, we're honest with guys. This is what it takes to win. This is what it takes to be a quarterback here every single day. So he wasn't surprised, like, this is what we got to do. But it does take a lot of trust built with the quarterbacks.
What have you seen that he's put together that's been really, really encouraging, maybe that you didn't know he was or you didn't see from him in the past, and then maybe some things that still need to kind of come together for him?
Yeah, a couple things. He's done a really good job hitting checkdowns, throwing the ball down, like not forcing things. And then some other stuff we've kind of added to has been some of the play action game. He's hit some deep posts and like he's doing some of that stuff, which kind of helps him, especially him out of the pocket and that kind of stuff. Some other things is like, hey, be you. Like, hey, something's not there, you don't like it, take off and go. Like, train yourself like it would be a game, right? And don't lose that edge to your game because you're trying to curtail it to, hey, I'm going to sit in the pocket. You feel something, take off and go. Keep playing how you play.
And then just in year two, what have you seen from Kevin is, he got thrown into the fire a couple times last year, and he seems like he's really built on that from spring and then now fall.
Yeah, what you see from Kevin is more expansion of the offense. He can handle more concepts. And he's got probably one of the stronger arms that we've had in a long time. And so you see him make throws, and I think everybody on the sideline is like, whoa, holy cow. He can really rip the ball. For him, he's been about a year from playing. I know he played in a couple games and came in and won us some games, but like keeping that mode of, hey, it's still game mode. Like when I'm scrambling, I'm running, throw it away. Or, hey, there's somebody full rushing me, take off and go and make something happen. And so training your mode, that's the hard part about when you're the backup quarterback, is you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I want to take these reps, I want to sit here and make these throws. You got to play a game take game reps. And so that's what we've kind of been encouraging, like, hey, take off and run. Like, do you, man. You don't have to sit there and just take things on. Take off and play.
The defense, the depth especially, kind of makes it harder on the second team, it seems like, a little bit more maybe than last year.
Yeah.
Is that something where as you're watching Kevin or anybody with the twos, you really have to, all right, it's a different group than what maybe Preston's working with a little bit?
Yeah. Well, the twos and three quarterbacks, the guys that take the twos and threes, they know that there's like, hey, we may be plugging a guy here on the offensive line by doing this, but I'll tell you this, our ones and twos and threes on the offensive line have never been better than we have it right now. I mean, you talk about we're 12 guys deep on the D line. You see 4 dudes in, 4 dudes out. It's like hockey change. Same thing with offensive line. We got dudes moving in and out, plugging and playing, and like you're sitting there going, all right, hey, who's 71? Oh my gosh, dude, I mean, like it's good stuff. We've got more depth up front than we've had in a long time. That's a positive thing for us.
And then just that room, it was a little thin last year. To add that depth, you've got the walk-ons in there. I think 8 guys in black jerseys out there right now. What does that just do overall when obviously you've got the 4 main ones you want to get reps, but you can do some different things when you've got a room that deep, and especially even with your 4 scholarship guys?
Yeah, well, we've got our 4 scholarship guys get a majority of the reps, right? Those are the guys we're trying to really evaluate, and then the other guys that are outside what they do for us is, man, during practice, like you watch them over in half line, it is so important for them to do the right ball handling for the running backs, because that's the time for the running backs to get downhill runs, right? Or we're going inside drill, we're working one-on-ones with the running backs. Like, they're not, just because you're not taking a team rep here doesn't mean you're not getting a team rep that's a half line drill, or we're running RVA, or we're working one-on-ones, that kind of deal. Like, you're contributing because you're throwing, right? And you've got to master those skills so that you can help develop guys, maybe not your spot, but you're helping Jamar and Carroll, right? Because he's getting a ball thrown to him. If we didn't have you here, he may not got a ball thrown to him, that kind of deal. So,
with the running back room, it's got to be just. I know you had him in the spring, but these guys that just continue to rotate. How do you guys, as a staff, try to figure out what the pecking order is going to look like as games, especially a couple big ones early, will be here, before you know it?
Oh yeah, no, we've got running back by committee. It's one of those deals you don't even really look at. Like, that, I mean, there's like 5 or 6 guys, and you're like, holy cow. Even if you look at our walk-on Zane Miners the other day in the scrimmage, I mean, shoot, he had some big runs. So we've got some dudes, and they're all different types of running backs, right? You've got a slasher, you've got an every down back, you got a steady, consistent back. You've got Levine, which everybody knows what Levine can do. He can downhill run. He's consistent. He can block, pass protection. I mean, there's just everybody's kind of got their own little role, and as you guys know, it takes a whole room to win us during the season. Not just one guy. He doesn't take all the carries. It's over a whole deal. It's over 1,000 reps during the season. So you got to spread those reps out, and we're going to need every single one of those guys to win.
I know a lot gets made about a chemistry between a quarterback and his receivers. Obviously, there are going to be some throws to those guys out of the backfield too, but how important is that familiarity and chemistry with a quarterback and his running back?
Oh yeah, you talk about running zone read stuff. You talk about handoffs, no balls on the ground. Like, that's why we stress the fundamentals of what we're doing every single day, so there's no balls on the ground. Because you're right, there are different running backs in, and so when you have a different back in each time, right, there could maybe a little bit different path here or there. So we got to be consistent in what we do at quarterback.
The 2 Jordans at receiver, Jordan Curley and Jordan Hudson,
Yep.
2 kind of opposite ends of their careers right now. What have you seen from Curley as far as growing into that leader and the high expectations for him this year? And then Jordan Hudson and kind of what he's brought in for the quarterbacks, just as 2 different receivers.
Yeah, well, you see Jordan Curley, mature, experienced. He's a man on a mission. You can see it in his eyes. Like, even if he drops a pass here or there, he just picks it up and moves on. Sometimes, when guys are young and early on, they have a mistake or something like that, and they start downfalling. He just keeps building and keep building. Obviously, he's an elite speed guy, elite running the home run post, elite running goes. His I don't know how you explain, like, his repertoire, all his little tools, I mean, they're starting to show. And it does take time. It's kind of like the quarterback position. Like, it takes a little bit of time to develop over a series of years. And then you can talk about Jordan Hudson. Bigger body, probably one of the bigger bodies we've had. Explosive. He can provide some of that physical presence, catching the ball across the middle, some back shoulders, and then he has the explosiveness stuff on the deep ball that he can separate from people. And so, the good thing about a receiver was very similar to a running back room. It's a by committee. So it's like, hey, you got yours, and once you've spent, get out, next guy up, and we're just rolling and rolling. And the quarterbacks sit there and go, crap, I got 3 deep on both sides, out wide, and then really I'm 3 deep on the inside. I mean, holy cow, like, you know what I mean? So it's just like keep rolling and playing fast and busting it until you're tired, then come out, rotate back in, so.
Is there kind of, with that receiver depth and everything, obviously there are going to be play calls that are going to target certain guys, but do you have to tell Preston or Kevin or whoever's in, hey, we need to get this guy involved, look for him? Do you need to say, don't worry about that, whatever's there? Like, how do you kind of get the quarterbacks involved in spreading it out, or just worrying about what they need to worry about?
Yeah, there's 2 parts of the offense. It's getting the ball to where it's supposed to go, right? Don't worry about who's where and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you make the decision and make it where it goes, and then we'll get the right pieces in the right places. And then sometimes they get up there and they go KYP, which means know your personnel. And I got my dude out there, and me and that dude got a connection, and I know he's going to run the route like that, and I like throwing to him, right? And that's what practice is built for. quarterbacks building trust, receivers building trust in the quarterbacks. Same thing at running back, same thing at tight end and slot receivers. So,
last one for me. How do you keep Preston, because he does care so much and he does work probably sometimes too hard? How do you keep him in that, the pressure off of him in a sense, knowing like he's stepping into this offense with so many weapons, expectations are high? How do you manage that with him a little bit?
I wouldn't say that we're putting expectations on him. We're expecting him to just go out and do what's there. Don't be anything more. It'll naturally come to you. If you're going out there thinking I got to press and I got to throw for this many touchdowns again, like no, dude. If we have 8 touchdown rushing in the game and we win the game, that's all that matters. And so I think I've seen a spin for him at practice is that going from a younger kid that would take things personal, like when he make a mistake, to now you can see him run off the field, asking questions. Okay, good, here we go, change and flipping mode. And that's been his development in the off season, in his mental development. And so I'd be able to handle adversity. That's a big deal because quarterbacks, man, you throw a pick or you get a ball on the ground and all of a sudden it just starts tumbling. The snowball effect starts going, and that's what I've seen from him is the snowball stops. You know what I mean? There is no avalanche. It's just like stop. Here we go. Reset. Let's play. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a year and a half, and that's why we've been here for a year and a half. It's taken that long.
And then just on the physical side of it, it looks like you really put in that work with Coach Grizz over the summer, got a little sturdier and all that. How much does that help when, injuries happen and all of that, but you also aren't thinking we've got a fragile guy back there?
Yeah. Well, first off, Grizz hasn't worked with me at all, so I'm not jacked up first, but Preston and the quarterbacks, I think Kevin's in the 190 pounds, which he's put on probably 20 pounds of weight since he's been here. Preston's probably the biggest physically he's been in a long time, since post-surgery from the Tulsa game. And so then you got Keldrick in there, which looks like he just does squats every day. His legs are massive, right? And so you got those guys, and you got Alex, you know what I mean? Like Grizz has put them together. And, just like we talk about, everything in our program is different for the quarterbacks. We train the quarterbacks different. And I think that's really what you see with what Coach Grizz has done with those guys. They've muscled up, right, which can help prevent from injury. And so he's done a really good job with that.